Hi Molly. I'm sorry you're not with us today. I hope that you're doing something that you enjoy. Whatever your task is, may God bless it. And I'm just putting together some thoughts that I will cover tomorrow on Tuesday. This is Monday early on President's Day, so I'm not sure if you are available to watch this today, but if possible, it will help you to be caught up when you come in on Wednesday. So eventually, I'm sure you'll find a few moments to watch this. I'm going to set the timer so that I know I haven't gone over my video limit here, so that'll help. All right. What I'm going to do in class on Tuesday, I mentioned in the email, is that I'm going to announce the trig project is due on Friday, and I'll give the students time to do 2 problems or 10 minutes, whatever comes first, and then that will make us, I think, up to 10 problems. I'll assign 2 more for tonight. That'll be Tuesday night, so that's up to 12 problems, I believe. So there's not many left, so it shouldn't be hard to finish the trig project on Friday. And you can find me if you have extra time, if you have questions on any of those. I don't address them directly, it's a test grade, but I will definitely give you ideas to help you through. So that sounds good. Other than that, we'll start with this classroom example. So to get our minds back on, this is a review of what we did on the snow day video. So I want to see how everyone absorbed that. So here is the problem that I'm going to start with. And it's the cosecant of the arctan, which is also called tan inverse, of x over the square root of 2. So jot that down. It can be in your response section on that page 105 maybe, or 104, the response page, I'm not sure. And you can see that's why I titled it Trig Functions with Inverse Trig Functions, because we have both of these going on at the same time, which initially it might look daunting, but you'll see that they're quite user-friendly. So I'll start on the inner court here, inside the parentheses. I know the arctan, or tan inverse, same thing, is only defined for quadrants 1 and 4. I'm assuming our x is positive, so I'm just going to go into quadrant 1. All of these end up in quadrant 1 with that assumption. So we'll assume that unless we're told otherwise. So I'm going to draw a triangle in the first quadrant. The hypotenuse comes zinging out of the origin, and the leg of the triangle, right triangle, will be made with the x-axis. So you form your right triangle necessary for our trig functions. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I will assign these parts to this triangle. And, oops, that's hypotenuse. Opposite over adjacent down here. And this one I'll just call H for hypotenuse. Then you'll recall that you solve for H using the Pythagorean theorem. So the sides squared, the sum of the sides squared equals hypotenuse squared. So I get H equals the square root of x squared plus 2. So I can replace H with that quantity, or that expression. And now I take the cosecant of that angle. I'll call the angle theta. The cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. And in this triangle, hypotenuse is this expression divided by opposite this expression. So I end up with the cosecant of that angle being square root of x squared plus 2 over x. And that's all there is to it. So we had 5 of those to do for our assignment, and I'd like to show you the answers. I did one more with the class, So I think I'll pick number. They all seem similar. I'll do number 4. No real reason for that. I'll do number 4 from the assignment. It's a freebie. If you got it wrong, you can change your results there. All right, number 4 from the snow day assignment on the video is secant of arctan of 3x over 1. All right, see if that's showing up. Looks pretty good. All right, so I draw my triangle. I'm putting it in the first quadrant. It's a right triangle, of course. And this in tangent, opposite, adjacent are the parts that are identified there. Notice the 3x I gave a denominator by putting it over a 1. That's my little trick to find side adjacent. So opposite is 3x, adjacent is 1. And we're looking for the hypotenuse, and it turns out to be square root of this squared. Notice both the number and the variable are squared, plus 1. And I'll just replace that. I just did a lot of that in my head. And you'll see if you write it out. If you need to write it out, that's okay. And now I'm going to take the secant of that angle. And the secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. So I don't really need to write that 1. So I'll just get rid of the denominator. And there we go with number 4. And they all sort of fall in that range of difficulty. And I don't think there are any surprises in those. So let me show you the answers to the others. So that was number 4. Here is the answer to number 1. You can pause the video. I'll just put it up for a second. Here's the answer to number 1. And I'll show you the rest that way. I believe you can see that. Number 2 should be floating around here. I can float it in front of the camera. Number 2, I don't know if that all fits in there. And if any of this is not easily visible, I will show you clearly when you get back. It's number 2. Number 3. And lastly, I did 4 for you, so number 5. Whoops. There it is. Number 5. And I don't see any big surprises in any of these, so hopefully your answers are agreeing with mine. So I need a score on that. So out of the 5, number 4 was a freebie. If after seeing number 4 you had to redo some, that's fine. But after you observe these pink answer sheets, give me the score, how many you got right, and then you can correct it to increase your homework score. So I'll need 2 numbers, like -2, -0. All right. So that's the homework review and answers to the homework. So let's go on to our new topic for today, and it is graphing inverse trig functions. I'm going to lead the class to find 3 of those. The arc sign, which is sometimes called the inverse sign. See if I can get my head in the picture for once. I'm going to do the arc sign or inverse sign, the arctan, and the arc cosine. So sine inverse, cosine inverse, and tan inverse. And I will lead the class in coming up with the graphs on their own and then practicing them for homework. You'll be writing them 2 times each. All right, so here's how I'm going to try to do this on video. I'm not sure how fruitful it will be for you, but we'll give it a whirl. So let's see. I'm going to give out these little pieces of, what's this called? Parchment paper. Could be wax paper, anything that you can see through somewhat. Mine keeps curling up, so I'm going to tape it up here. And this is where I'm not sure it'll work on video, because I'm not sure you'll be able to see on that little sheet, but let's give it a try. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is y equals arc sine. I'll write it like sine inverse of x. And you'll recall that we have restricted the sine inverse to quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. Oh, I'll be right back. You'll finish this on part 2.